Nice to see your beautiful faces, my movie peeps. The spooky season's over, sadly, but the glorious red and blue set is back, and I've got movie news that'll hopefully just make your day a little better. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys, is we got some new rumors concerning Matt Reeves' The Batman that sound pretty interesting. We've got not one, not two, but three new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works, and the writer they have chosen really surprised me. Popular online game Hello Neighbor getting a live-action movie. Oh, we're gonna be diving into that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and well, let's just dive into our first story here. One of the first things I wanted to get into is a new trailer that got released today for a movie I thought sounded amazing. The movie is called Dear Santa, and it is starring Jack Black. The premise alone had me hooked. The film's basically going to be about a little kid who writes a letter to Santa Claus, but he accidentally addresses it as Dear Satan. From there, the letter gets sent to Satan, the devil, who appears to this kid, telling him he can grant him 3 wishes, and after he's done, he's taken his soul. And before I saw this trailer, I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds like a great idea for a Christmas movie. I still enjoy me some Jack Black here and there. Looks like it could be a fun time. And this trailer kind of ruined all my excitement. I wasn't expecting like the best thing ever or the new greatest Christmas classic, but this trailer felt really off. And now I'm completely understanding why this film went straight to Paramount Plus instead of getting a theatrical release. You have some decent star power here with Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key. There's even a moment where the little kid's dancing with Post Malone. But for a comedy, not a lot of these jokes were landing for me. Some scenes scream low budget to me, like, ah, what a disappointment. If I would have told you a week ago, which I think is when I first heard about this movie, Jack Black will play Satan in a Christmas movie to a kid who thought he was writing to Santa, you'd be like, oh, that sounds like fun. No fun was had during this trailer. I'll probably still check it out. I'm subscribed to all these streaming services for the job, so maybe it could be a little entertaining. I mean, this is from one of the directors that did Dumb and Dumber, and that's like one of my favorite comedies of all time, but it's been really long since the Farley brothers put out anything as close as being funny as Dumb and Dumber. Trailer wasn't for me, but throwing it off to you guys. You saw the trailer for Dear Santa. Is this one you're looking forward to, or what do you think felt off about the trailer? And well, speaking about movies that went straight to Paramount Plus, doesn't mean they're always going to be stinkers. Take a look at Orphan First Kill. That was a horror movie I was extremely hesitant about. Thought, why would they randomly make a sequel to Orphan? A movie that's a pretty fine horror movie that is ultimately saved by its crazy twist at the end of that first film. Expectations could not have been lower, and man, was that such a great treat when that came out. It even got a small theatrical release, and Paramount ended up making more money than they thought with that film, which is why it makes all the much sense that this week it got confirmed Orphan 3 is officially announced, and Lionsgate is going on to making this movie. Isabelle Fuhrman will be reprising the role of Esther, and I am so excited for whatever they got going on. That second film proved to me there's a lot of juice in the tank for this Orphan franchise, and I felt they pulled off a successful twist in that second movie. Can't imagine what the twist will be for this third film. But whatever it is, I am all in, because I think Esther is one maniacal, crazy little girl. Like, just because of her size, I kind of fit her into that evil doll category, even though she's not a doll at all. But hearing from you guys, any Orphan fans out there, you excited for the third movie? Any predictions to what kind of crazy twist or path they can go down? Would love to hear your opinions down below. Moving on here, we got a video game that is getting the movie treatment. It got revealed today that Hello Neighbor is going to be turned into a movie, and it's going to be written by the same person who brought us Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh man, I think if you were someone who was growing up binge watching these horror gameplays on YouTube the last, I don't know, 15 years, you were just eating good, baby. You had Five Nights at Freddy's from Blumhouse getting made. You're right now about to get the Bendy and the Ink Machine movie. You have Poppy's Playtime that's currently in the works, and now you're getting Hello Neighbor the movie? There is some executive in Hollywood that is just going down the list of like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, seeing whatever gameplays they did, looking at those views and going, all right, can we turn this into a movie? Who's got the rights? And you know, I dabbled into watching that type of content whenever I was desperate, had like my Subway in front of me, and I needed something to watch. I'd put on one of them gameplays. And if you're someone who's never played the game, the basic premise is you are a person who starts to notice a lot of suspicious activity in your neighbor's house. You get so obsessed with trying to figure out what is your neighbor up to, you start sneaking in their homes and you encounter puzzles, clues, dark secrets, all at the same time trying to avoid the neighbor catching you. It's actually a pretty suspenseful game and it really gets your heart pumping because you do not want to get caught. And this is one of those video games I could easily see get a movie adaptation. In fact, I think I've already seen this movie. Shia LaBeouf's Disturbia. You remember that one? Was kind of a banger back in the day, was it not? Followed almost an extremely similar premise. Just a guy who's looking at his neighbor and is noticing, yo, something fishy going on there. Let me spy on you, buddy. So I feel like I've already kind of seen this movie, but hey, I'm down to see what else they can do. So I throw it off to you guys. How do you feel about Hello Neighbor getting turned into a movie? It doesn't even say if it's live action. I thought it was live action, but the announcement was so vague. This could also honestly be anime. Doubt it though. You excited for the Hello Neighbor movie, or what video game turned movie are you most excited for? Bringing us here to talk about some Star Wars. You guys know me, casual Star Wars fan, so I'll rarely ever talk about any big Star Wars projects out there, but every now and then we got one we have to discuss. And well, today was the announcement from places like Deadline or The Hollywood Reporter, so official news outlets letting us know that a new Star Wars trilogy is currently in development at Lucasfilm, and they have gotten Simon Kinberg to write and produce. Now, immediately when this popped up on the internet, I went, Simon Kinberg? That name is extremely... Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. That is the man who is responsible for about most of the X-Men movies whenever Fox was making them. In fact, he went on to direct X-Men Dark Phoenix. He's had a heavy hand in a lot of those projects, including even Fan 4-Stick. So immediately I had a traumatic kick response going, oh no, this is terrible. I feel so bad for the Star Wars fans. This could not go well. Because I wasn't just thinking about the weird choices that went on during the Fox X-Men movies, but I thought about how this is the guy who wrote most of those movies, and in every single one of his movies, he ignored continuity, he changed things around, and I don't think that quality is a strong trait to have when writing a new Star Wars series, because I think that's one of the biggest missteps of the most recent Star Wars trilogy, is that they didn't plan it out ahead of time, and they were just winging it movie to movie. That'll always be the biggest regret with that series. That's how you end up with lines like, somehow Palpatine returned. But to play devil's advocate a little bit, there had to have been some specific reason he was chosen, and well, we have Rob Liefeld, who did have this to say about Simon Kinberg, saying, Simon is a super talented guy, wrote and produced Mr. and Mrs. Smith, produced The Martian with Ridley, created and produced Rebels, created and produced Invasion on Apple, pushed Fox to make Deadpool when they didn't want to make it, with Ryan. He is a central figure in Deadpool, produced 3 of the best X-Men films, First Class, Logan, and Days of Future Past. It's also said Simon Kinberg is a giant nerd for anything Star Wars, and you know, maybe that's something you need in the franchise. So maybe he has a great idea for these next 3 movies. There's conflicting reports about whether this is the next saga, meaning episode 10, 11, and 12, which I think a lot of Star Wars fans are waiting for, or this will be its own separate thing with new characters. Different articles are saying different things, but at the end of the day, elephant in the room. This is what, the 10th, 9th Star Wars project that gets announced, talked about, writer attached, producer attached, sometimes director attached, and then what happens? Movie never gets made, or they scrap it entirely to be dusted away. That's got to be another reason why I just don't even talk Star Wars, because most of the things that get announced do not end up coming to fruition. So what's the point of fantasizing and thinking, that could be a good movie, I like that. I saw someone even posted like the list of movies they announced that just have not moved forward at all in the last couple of years, and it's just sad. I know there's a lot of toxicity and hate, but I still feel there's got to be a lot of love of Star Wars left, and I think one day there's gonna be some major analysis on the way Disney kind of fumbled the bag with Star Wars. Because I've said it over and over again, I remember a time where even me, as a non-Star Wars fan, knew this was one of the biggest franchises in the world. Fast forward to everything that's happened in the last 10-15 years, Star Wars doesn't feel that big to me now. I know it still has a nice big fan base out there, but I just remember the hype being insane for when Force Awakens was coming out. And even for non-fans like me, that was infectious energy. And now it's just kind of like, oh, new Star Wars? Cool. Is that Paddington 3? Hey, still love and respect you Star Wars fans. I'm not hating on you, and this is me just talking from an outsider's perspective, wishing nothing but the best for your series. I really mean that. But we'll see if this Simon Kinberg Star Wars trilogy happens. I'm someone that honestly would have really liked the Rian Johnson trilogy. But that's just my opinion. You Star Wars fans, let me know yours. Bringing us here to talk about the Batman universe. Ooh, guys, we have been eating nothing but good. I don't know if you've been watching the Penguin series on Max. This coming Sunday is the finale. I suggest you start binging and so you're ready for it. But man, it has fleshed out the Batman universe in a way I didn't expect, and it's really gearing me up for the Batman Part 2. And because it looks like the Penguin is getting a lot of success in terms of viewership and ratings, they are not going to stop expanding the Batman universe, leading us to a new rumor that has landed online. Now, thanks to Slash Films, they've kind of summarized where this rumor's coming from, so I can put it in perspective for you a little bit. It says here, the rumor comes from the Marvel Vision podcast, hosted by a blogger, Derek Farsi, and former critic, Devin Farsi. A reliable source of insider info, but it should be noted, has had a controversial past in the film critic community. Essentially just letting you know, there is some reliability from this, but still take it with a grain of salt. Beginning on to what the rumor is, they have it here in a scoop that Slash Films can independently confirm. We've heard from our own sources in recent days. Farsi reveals that WB is looking ahead to future plans for the Joker, some of which may include a Joker-centric spin-off series which will lead up to a major appearance in the third The Batman movie. And that's kind of what's going around right now, is that one of the next spin-off shows that they could put on Max is going to be Joker-centric, and this would lead us into Joker being the main villain for Robert Pattinson's The Batman Part 3. Look, I honestly believe this so much because I think there was so much evidence of what was going on in this universe that has changed. Let us not forget, before the Penguin, there were two other shows in the Matt Reeves Batman universe that were being pitched. One was a Gotham Police Department show where it would be the first year that Robert Pattinson's Batman would be showing up, and it would be from the perspective of the police department of this vigilante kind of doing their job. I was like, that sounds awesome. It got scrapped. They decided not to do it. I was like, oh, bummer. Then the next thing was an Arkham Asylum show where that was heavily rumored to feature the Joker. And I thought, oh, heck yeah, baby. I want to see this Arkham show. And you get snippets of what Arkham is like in the Penguin series. Do not want to end up in Arkham, man. You do not want to be there. But then ultimately, that also got scrapped. So I was like, dang, is Penguin going to be the only show that we get from this universe? They've already talked about, we're working on stuff, and a Joker-centric show just makes all that much sense to me. Joker is such a big presence in the Batman world that he just always has to end up being the villain somewhere in his franchise, whether it's the first movie, the second movie, or with Robert Pattinson's case, possibly the third movie. Joker will be your villain eventually because he's just that big and the people demand it. I do not think Joker will be the big villain of the Batman Part 2. He might have a small cameo and they'll maybe do something similar to what was planned in the first Batman movie before that scene was deleted, where maybe Batman goes to the Joker, Hannibal Lecter style, and is like, hey, I got this case. You're a madman. What do you see in front of you? I could see them actually doing that there. But Joker being the main villain of the third film, yeah, baby. Especially with him already being in Arkham, the movie could do its own version of Arkham Asylum, where just Joker breaks out along with so many other villains. Villains that Batman has collected along the first two movies, whether that's Riddler and whoever is going to be the villains of the second movie. It just feels like that would be such a great big bang finale for the series. But there is some pushback, you know. A lot of fans still hate the design choice that they went with Barry Keoghan's Joker, and I don't blame them. I'm kind of open to it. I don't think it's all that bad. It does fit the Batman universe, but at the same time, maybe there is a possibility they change it. That was a deleted scene, meaning it's not official canon. For all we know, Matt Reeves could recast that Joker since he wasn't actually in the film and get another actor. He could listen to the fan feedback and tweak the design. I'd be open to that as well, but I think there's a lot of great possibility in a Joker-centric show. Because just like how they've been setting up the Penguin and showing us how he's getting the criminal empire under his belt through his show, getting us ready for the Batman Part 2. The Joker series could show us the history behind him and Batman, which there obviously seems to be some. His origin or his possible escape of Arkham that leads us into the third movie. Like, I would love to see that show. Plus, Warner Brothers probably wants to get the most recent bad taste out of your mouth from Joker 2 and just give you maybe a more exciting Joker. All wishful thinking for now, but I totally see this being the plan and somewhere in the cards. Super excited for it, but we'll see what other shows they come out with or whatever ideas they have for the next two films. But you hear this might be the plan. You like it? You dislike it? Let me know down below. But that is all movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you for taking time out of day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3CFilms or on TikTok at 3CFilms. But as always, hide your boy. Take care.